I was fortunate enough to do that, and then by default, accumulate more business for potential investors, like looking. So we would work on their behalf in order to find potential investment. So um, it was just kind of like, again, gleaning as much as I could from my manager while going through the processes of, actively trying to sell what listings we had, while again trying to generate more business on my own. Um, and it was just, obviously being new to the industry, the first several months were tough. I think people were able to kind of see that I was pretty green. But again, I'm so thankful for the experience, just because it helped me become a better broker. It helped me learn so much, and like it's led me to this point now.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest, John Cella, is a broker and investor based out of Manhattan. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Dylan. It's great to be here. I'm super excited to talk everything real estate and try and give some tips and tricks and maybe spread the knowledge I've accumulated over 15 years in the industry. So, um, looking forward to having some fun with you today.
Yeah, it's great to meet you here. We were chatting before hopping on here. I happen to be pretty close to where you're at. I'm in northern New Jersey. You're in Manhattan. Lifelong New Yorker. Did you come from a family or a circle that was real estate heavy? How did you get into real estate?
A good question. I actually, I'm a native New Yorker. I was born in Queens, moved out to North Shore of Long Island in elementary school, and went to school in Boston, actually, at Boston College. So spent a few years out of the state, but immediately came back in and started my career right after school in Manhattan. I was actually doing a few different things. I was doing television ad sales. I got into sports sales and corporate sales and sponsorships with the New York Red Bulls a long time ago, out in Harrison, New Jersey. So, like I said, I was dealing with the soccer clubs and the local businesses there, um, but always had real estate in the back of my mind. My father was a real estate attorney. My oldest brother followed in his footsteps. He's also an attorney, but so it's the language, the deal, the transactional nomenclature was always being tossed around, and again, it always kind of stuck in my mind. And then I think it was about like 28 or 29. I finally kind of took the dive and got my first job into commercial real estate, actually. So. Um, I was working for a commercial real estate firm handling commercial sales in a certain territory in South Brooklyn. Um, yeah, and that's how I got my feet wet, and never looked back. So it's been awesome. I just love talking the industry and relationships and how to just really succeed in the business.
Sure, sure. When we talk about getting in the commercial space, This is for a lot of agents who are newer or even aspiring agents, they may be asking, well, how'd you get in the commercial side? I'd love to start in commercial, right?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Do you think that maybe less complicated than people make it seem in order to get into commercial, or are there a lot of doors that you've got to kind of wedge yourself into in order to break in a commercial?
Well, you know what? I was, I guess, at a little different time. This was back in 2011, so 2010, 2011, and I just applied to every real estate oriented job. This firm, in particular, was offering educational courses for beginners like myself. Also, I had the opportunity to work under a manager who had an established territory, so they were able to show me the ropes. And again, it was almost like a dream job for me because I was not only 100% commission. I did have a small salary, so the compensation structure was really what enabled me to kind of gather my bearings as a newbie, if you will, and just again really learn foundational knowledge about the commercial real estate sector. So,
Right, right.
and then a lot of it is just going through the pain of making these calls, like really studying the basics of what how to evaluate properties. Is there a cap rate analysis that's applicable? What's the highest and best use for the property? Does it need to change from, say, mixed use to a multifamily? All these things were kind of just thrown at me, and it really was a great experience to get into the industry. But I soon realized that I think residential was a little more, sexy for me, or something that kind of fit my style. So
Really?
about
So you went the other way.
I
What?
went the other way,
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, that being said, I still maintain my ties to the commercial sector. So, in that first 18 months, I was able to connect with a couple of investors and lenders and really establish relationships that I maintain to this day. And I think that's just one of the main pieces of being successful in this industry. You know, y- Having these relationships and having these people that know and that trust you is going to lead to the expansion of the business. It's just kind of by nature. So as long as you're hustling, as long as you're meeting people, and you are that dependable, reliable, consistent real estate resource, things will happen. So that's kind of just what I learned early on and what I tried to maintain over the last 15 years.
Now, getting into commercial, you then went into the residential side.
Mhm.
What were the deals like though in the commercial space? So were you brokering the deals? Were you doing acquisitions directly? Were you guys buying these properties yourselves? What were the deals like?
Yeah, strictly as a broker position. Like I said, I was working under a manager who had established himself in the territory. So I was assisting by basically getting out the word on the current exclusives that we had, talking to all the local investors at the time. And I'm not sure if this has changed since COVID and the growth of the internet and everything, but 9 times out of 10, any property that we sold, the investor was local and nearby. They knew the market. They saw the opportunity to add value if there was one. And then again, that was who we worked with. So I was fortunate enough to do that, and then by default accumulate more business for potential investors, like looking. So we would work on their behalf in order to find potential investment. So
If you're looking for consistent, high quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Right.
Um, it was just kind of like, again, gleaning as much as I could from my manager while going through the processes of, actively trying to sell what listings we had, while again trying to generate more business on my own.
Sure.
Um, and it was just, obviously being new to the industry, the first several months were tough. I think people were able to kind of see that I was pretty green. But again, I'm so thankful for the experience, just because it helped me become a better broker. It helped me learn so much, and like it's led me to this point now. So
Yeah,
like I'm
absolutely.
certainly confident with any sort of advising role that I take on. I take my fiduciary as a broker with the utmost responsibility. So um, I'm always looking to work on behalf of my clients, whether they're buying or selling, um, and always make sure that I'm setting expectations properly, and they have the confidence that I do that they are making a sound investment or a sound sale at the time.
What's it like being before you were a broker, before as a new realtor in New York City?
It was tough, man. I mean, like I said, like I think people were able to see through my disguise initially, and as you might know, if anyone's in sales early on, you might not have the confidence in order to express yourself in a believable manner. So I think people were calling me out pretty quickly. But again, it enabled me to just really learn, like, okay, how do I position an argument that should lead to that should further the conversation, or at least should develop the relationship in the long term. So um it again, it's rough beginnings, but I think that's with every job. There's no I've also come to believe that there's no better teacher than the real world. You can learn as much as you want in college and get your MBA and graduate school, but go right into the workforce and you'll learn exactly what people want, how people think, and how to make people happy and service clients. So I've kind of collected all that, found out the demographic that I want to serve, and just love what I do. So I'm just very fortunate in these senses, but um, tough beginnings. But again, I don't think it's different than any other
Any
job.
other
So
job? Yeah.
yeah,
What's your business like today? Do you work predominantly with investors? Do you work with retail buyers? Is it a fair mix of both?
I think it's a fair mix of both. Investing's so hard here. If anyone's familiar with the New York City and Brooklyn markets, and I think we were talking about this maybe a bit earlier, but the operating expenses and the carrying costs really hurt the yield. So you don't really, in my opinion, you don't really invest in this market to see these annual returns, or these like fix and flips. It's going to be a long-term hold that you'll want to focus on a certain area that's going to mature around you. So you place your money at year one, and then year 10 to 15 is where you look to kind of exit the deal within that several year time frame. And I think that's kind of what I've learned along the years, and it's enabled me to kind of strategically showcase my skills and allow people to be happy with the service that that I afford to them, whether they're on the retail side and in the residential, or investing in a small multifamily or mixed use. So um, I think the economic the economic goals or the financial goals for each person is almost the same way, right? Like people want to, make money and, have their strategy and execute properly. And
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
it's just a matter of understanding those goals and helping whoever is, active at the moment. Right now, I'd say it's more residential. A lot of these investors are looking for value add opportunities, and they're really, few and far between. So, um, at the moment, I'd say the transactional volume is leaning towards the residential side and, the retail side.
Now, it's really a different conversation when we're talking about New York City, even versus, every other area of New York and also the country. Because how often are you in a city where you have, five different boroughs of the same city, and then within there, there's different areas. As a realtor, now a broker, you know, do people really specialize in certain areas, like even within, a borough? And then what's the competition like? I imagine there has to be so much competition that you do have to be pretty niche in how you're marketing yourself.
I think at first, I think it's important to specialize at first in what you know. So, it's going to be hard to know as much as possible right off the bat. And hey, I cover everywhere in Manhattan and Brooklyn and Queens. Like, you're not going to be successful. You don't know anything to start. So, I think going through the progression of a residential or realtor's career locally, start small. Focus on a few different things, and then again, it'll just kind of come naturally, and then your geographic knowledge will expand. So, I focused mainly in South Brooklyn to start, and then I moved into like Northern Brooklyn, um, and then I slowly moved into Manhattan. So, like after again 15 years, now I feel like I'm confident talking about anywhere in Manhattan from 145th Street down to Financial District. Or if you're familiar with Brooklyn neighborhoods, I like to say Greenpoint. If I work in Brooklyn, anywhere from Greenpoint on the northern end to Greenwood on the southern end. So, um, it's just again, I'm just fortunate enough. I've stuck with it. I've been able to familiarize myself. I spent days and years in each of these neighborhoods. I've lived in most of them. Um, so now I can confidently talk about certain areas, and obviously it depends on the certain investment strategy too, right? Like your $1 million is not gonna go as far in the West Village if you were to go to maybe like Bushwick in Brooklyn. So it really, you have to kind of work with the client and, see what they're looking for and stay within their means. Um, and so, yeah, that'll be sorry to be so long-winded with my
Okay.
answer, but I do think it's start small and then let it happen naturally, and I think that'll lead you to success. I think it's the important thing is the relationship, right? Like, everyone says it, whether it's you're in finance, you own a auto shop. If people see you as a consistent, reliable, dependable source, they will come back to you. So establishing that trust and that reliability right off the bat is the important thing. So whether you're dealing with the small deals and only in like the West Village rentals, great. It'll lead to West Village sales, and then Chelsea sales, and who knows. It's you can't be everywhere at all
At
times.
all
It's
times.
it's impossible.
Now, as someone who's started in the commercial space and then went into the single family space, um, working with both retail and investors, have you looked at deals yourself as an investor? Have you bought deals either in or outside of New York City area?
Outside. So I've bought in Philly, obviously being so close to New York, and it's just an easy way to kind of oversee properties that I've looked at and that I've invested in. And I do think like certain same kind of rules apply. Like there are certain pockets that I've wanted to place money and then hold for a long time. I have no plans of selling. I want to see it out. You know, I revamped the property. That was first and foremost. I only look for properties where I can utilize a value add strategy. So obviously it starts with, your purchase cost and then what sort of rehab can you do in order to meet the returns that I'm forecasting.
Now,
So
when
yeah,
when we talk about investing out of state, New York, Pennsylvania, right? I imagine a lot of this is having management in place or a team or people that you know out there personally who can assist.
exactly.
How do you manage that?
Well, it's been a few years in the making, right? Like I've had to go through my own issues of working with the wrong people who, may not may not follow through with what they promised. So I feel like that's almost a guarantee. But again, you have to go through it. Like the real world is the best teacher. So, like I said, I've gone through these issues before, but I've established these relationships with people I can count on. And I feel like even though I'm not there on site, I do have people that I trust that constantly oversee the property. I'm in constant communication with my tenants to make sure that they're happy. And I want to make sure that my investment is you know living up to the returns that I expect. So it's not just I'm going to put money on it and I'll let it be. I want to be a landlord that's present, that cares about his tenants. That way, again, that my reputation stays intact. It's not only as a realtor that or a broker that I'm focusing my role on. It's as an owner, investor, and a landlord. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
it's no matter what you're doing. People should care about you and rely that you're going to be that source. Whether there's an issue, you're going to solve it. So
Yep.
that's
Yeah.
just kind of
100%.
what I aim to do
You
in all my roles, especially as an investor.
you've got to be able to walk in and think, if I'm not adding value to this, am I creating distress? Like as an operator, right? I mean, when we talk about commercial right now, there's a lot of distress not in properties where I'm licensed in Texas, but on the operator side. The operators themselves are distressed. The same thing can happen in the single family space, right? If you have a, let's call it like a short term rental Airbnb, and next month, next year, Airbnb is no longer allowed short term stays. Well, now you've got to pivot your strategy. And, are you going to be able to, justify continuing to hold that property, or what are you going
Sure.
to do with it? And anytime like you're fix and flipping, of course, right? There's unforeseen issues that can arise. So it's always about adding some value somewhere. We are coming up
Yeah.
on time here though, John.
Wow. Quickly. I'm
Went
sorry.
by quick. Where can folks go if they're interested in learning more about you, or maybe they have a deal they'd like you to look at, or maybe they're in New York area and they'd like to reach out to you?
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, I currently work with Coldwell Banker Warburg, based in Manhattan. They can reach me either by email or phone. They can go to my direct page. Um, they can reach me, like I said, by cell phone, email, and then they can follow me on Instagram or Facebook. I'm a little bit older, so I'm more old school. I have to get the social media accounts going, but I try to be present for the younger generation. So the best way to reach me is email or phone, man. Just pick up the phone and give me a call, and let's start the relationship. And I'll be happy to advise as best as I can.
John, thank you so much for coming on the show here today.
My pleasure, Dylan. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.